Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, today, I wanted us to discuss why it's important to have a plan for each character, and also I'm going to discuss character development in RWBY, and we're going to go a little in depth on this. So, before we get into this discussion, sit back, relax, I hope you all enjoy, so let's go ahead and jump right on into this discussion. So, when we look at characters, every series has characters you're going to like and you're going to dislike. And the best thing whenever it comes to characters is obviously to develop them right and to have a plan for them. Because if characters aren't developed well, especially if the character is a main focus for the arc, or things of this sort within the plot, then this becomes a very bad problem. If your main characters are thrown by the wayside, or if you just don't plan out what you're going to do with said characters, this becomes a problem within the future. And both the protagonist and the antagonist are going to be focuses because obviously they are important. They obviously have reasons to be in the plot. Otherwise, if you just threw them in there for no reason, then they're not really that interesting. And that's the thing. You can throw in characters for several different reasons, but you always have to have a plan for each character because if you don't, it can become one big mess once you come to actually writing these characters. So when it comes up to that moment that this character's focused and you have no plan, it becomes a problem. Certain characters have actually been developed pretty well within RWBY because if you look at Weiss's character, if you look at how she's changed from the start to where she is now, her character and her personality has actually gotten a lot better, and obviously she had a lot of reasons to feel the way she actually did. And seeing the development that she's gone from Volume 1 to Volume 5, it has actually been very interesting to actually watch her character grow and very well change. And obviously, it's been for the better, and it's been a positive for her character. If you look at how she started off in the beginning, she was, well, with the natural tsundere trope, she herself actually was distant, and, of course, her and Ruby had their disputes and had their problems. But considering Weiss's past and her home life, it makes sense why she is kind of cold and untrustworthy towards other individuals. And that makes a lot of sense, because when you actually look at it and you look at Weiss, she started to actually try more as time went on. And, thinking back upon her home life, about her father being an abusive alcoholic, it obviously made sense as to why Weiss was a little more preserved as a person rather than trying to immediately just jump to trying to make friends, because, if you had an abusive home life, you're not going to sit there and go, oh, hey, this is wonderful, I can just trust anybody. You're certainly not going to feel like that, and that's exactly how Weiss felt. Then, of course, as time moved on, more friends that she's made, she obviously has opened up a lot more, and it shows that her character, even though the problems she went through in the past, she's been trying to gradually break through her shell and actually become a much more caring and loving individual, which, as you can tell, she obviously has become that. She obviously is there for her friends, and she has actually become a very good character, and one that a lot of people could say that they can relate to because of how she's grown. And it's actually a very good growth for her character. It's very good to see that she went from trying to push herself away from everyone because she feels that she can't trust people, to obviously opening up more because she realizes there are good people in the world. And also it goes to show that she is trying to defy her father. She is obviously showing that this is her life and that her life is under her control. And, This Life Is Mine, that song really tells a lot about herself breaking free of her father's control. And it's good to see that Weiss has finally taken charge of her own life instead of letting her father dictate it or determine what she's going to do. And, when you look at it, she also was more open with her friends, her comrades. And, obviously being there for Yang was a very good thing within Volume 5 for her character because it shows that she is more open to actually trying to help others. I mean, it's not as if she wasn't before, but she's really grown to the point where it shows this very good side of her character. And I think that this growth is actually a very good thing. And it shows that the plans for her character actually went over very well because her development has actually been a very good thing. It has been a very good thing to see her grow into the character she's become up to this point. And, that's the thing. When you look at characters, they have to have good planning. They have to have good growth. And that is one good thing we can certainly say about Weiss's character between the change from Volume 1 to Volume 5 is that she has certainly grown a lot. And, looking at it, you have to be able to make these characters go through these conflicts and to help people understand them and realize what they've gone through and why they were the way they were previously up to where they are now. And each character is going to be very different. And if we look at how Cinder, for example, let's look at how her character was planned. It was very interesting how she worked things up to becoming the Fall Maiden, it's not like she just immediately gained these powers. She went as being an average individual as well, obviously working her way up to actually becoming the Fall Maiden, gaining the followers that she gained, and actually becoming triumphant over Beacon. She actually took down Beacon, and she did it with her own planning. This was actually a very good thing that she actually did, and, when you look at her character, this proves with her planning and how she did all of this, she is not a stupid character by any means. She is very intelligent because she was able to actually get past Ozpin and actually take him down, take down Beacon Tower. She did all of it. And, and that was with her planning. It actually worked out. She gained followers. I mean, looking at her character, she worked her way up. And she worked as hard as she could to gain these powers. She worked as hard as she could to take down Ozpin. And when you actually think about it, the way that this was planned out was brilliant. And it was a very good and established plan. And when you actually look at how this all worked out for Cinder, the way that her character was planned for all this, it was great. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it, and we actually got to learn more about her character through this. And I think that this was a very well written part for Cinder, and I think her plans were written out well. I think her character has been written out very well. But although we've had certain characters written out well, we've had some parts to characters that haven't been written out so well at all. And one of those, I would say, in my opinion, is Blake. I really feel like the whole thing with Blake was really kind of dropping the ball a bit, because Blake could have actually had a very big character development moment. But I feel that this wasn't written very well. I feel like this could have been written a lot better, and the reason why I say this is because, yes, she did get good development in one area that she needed development in, and that is, don't run away from your friends. Always be there for your friends, help out your friends. Yes, she should have learned that a long time ago, and it's good that she finally did learn that, but the one thing that was never tackled was her fear of Adam. That was not really tackled. And that was hard for her character because she needed that. She needed that hit. She needed that conflict to actually happen, to at least talk about this with one of her allies or even her own family. She could have talked about it with Sun. She could have talked about it with her parents. They could have tried to help her overcome this fear. But instead, this never comes up at all. And this is a big problem considering that we know she's been afraid of Adam for a while. We know that she has not liked what Adam stood for. And she did kind of talk about Adam a little bit, but the whole fear thing and overcoming that one, that never was brought up. I mean, yeah, she talked about what Adam really kind of felt like he was as a character, like how he was spite and all this, but, that's how she saw him. But thinking about it, when you look at all of this, no, she didn't really talk about how she was afraid of Adam. She didn't really talk about how to get over this fear or to tackle this fear or to even go up against it. She didn't talk about that. And that's a problem because she could have actually gone through some development this way, and I think this would have been better to help her character at least. And the other thing is, this is also brought up when Ilya captures her. When Ilya captures her, the thing is, she says that she's going to take her to Adam, and she has that fear on her face, that expression of fear that, oh no, I'm going to be sent to Adam. And it shows she's still afraid of Adam. It was right there on her face. It was written all over it. And this was never brought up. This was never talked about in this regard, and that's a problem because this is one of her biggest fears. This is probably even her biggest fear. And she certainly didn't even bring it up, and she could have brought it up with her friends or, her family, whatever. Something could have happened, and then she just magically overcomes this fear and is like, I'm not even here for you, Adam. But she was, and that's another problem because the White Fang was the entire conflict, and she knew that having to go save Haven would obviously mean she would encounter Adam, and that was her point, and then she says, no, I'm not here for you. That realistically made no sense. It was very weird. She contradicted herself on that one. I don't know. This is very strange. And I think she could have been written better there. And another character that I have talked about a few times already, but I'm going to bring up again because this is a good point, is that RWBY herself is the main character. And she has really just not had any plans, period, for her character other than you had the silver eyes, but this hasn't been brought up at all. And another thing to look at is that her character's really drastically changed from volumes 1 through 3 to 4 and 5. I mean, volume 3 obviously being the highlight of her character, but then if we look at it, she just gets thrown to the side. I mean, she used to have a lot more personality and a lot more characteristics with her geeky, nerdy thing about weapons and all of that. That used to be there, which really doesn't feel like it's there anymore. And I mean, yes, you could say, well, she actually kind of geeked out over Yang's arm. Yeah, but that was just a brief moment, and realistically, it didn't contribute to much. I mean, her character still feels very hollow and bland, and nothing more than just feeling like a character of justice and trying to save the world and trying to do the right thing. I mean, she used to be this really amazing character that had pretty good fighting skills at that. And I mean, she had moments that were amazing. The Nevermore moment, I think, was a really good moment in Volume 1 for her character. And, looking at this, she has really been dubbed down to a character that's just there. And, it's just kind of sad because Ruby's character really needs to develop. She really needs to have something. There needs to be a plan behind her character. And the problem is, if her character doesn't get worked on, if her character doesn't improve, then she's just going to be there, and people are not going to really care much for her character, because if they don't work on her character, they don't give her an arc to develop or grow, then this becomes a problem, because as the main character, you need to work on that character a lot. I'm not saying that has to be 100% all the time the focus and don't work on any other character. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying she needs to be worked out as well as other characters too, and there needs to be plans for her character. And if she doesn't get worked on, then that's just going to be annoying, and she's just going to be there, and you're going to think, well, you're just kind of here, you're not doing anything, you're not providing anything, when in reality she had questions that could contribute. She could have asked about the Silver Eyes, for example, but she didn't do this. And she had Crow and Ozpin to actually answer those questions, but that didn't happen. But they're talking about how they're going to work on her character more in the future, and I hope they do, and hopefully it'll be for the better, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like. Hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well, anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful day, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always do better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have a good one, everybody.